Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Hopefully everybody's had a happy 4th of July. Hoping that my American friends have had a fantastic weekend and a festive period. In the UK, it's still very much business as normal, and we're going to be diving into Cardano in this one because we've got some huge news to share with you on a number of different fronts. Essentially, Input Output came out yesterday and said that they were happy to report that today being yesterday, at 2020 UTC time, the IOG team has successfully hard forked the Cardano testnet. This is an important next step in the journey towards the Vasel upgrade on mainnet. So they have said that they are looking at the last 2 weeks of this month to actually go ahead and release Vasel on mainnet and hard fork the mainnet chain. But this is huge, guys. And this is huge for a number of reasons. You know, not only is the Vasel hard fork absolutely crucial to Cardano as a blockchain, it brings absolutely huge upgrades, but also for its ecosystem. And we've heard from the likes of DJED that are actually looking to, or JED, that are looking to launch pretty much after the hard fork has taken place. And a native algorithmic stablecoin on Cardano, I think, is going to do wonders. Certainly for its DeFi ecosystem, but we're going to be getting into all that in this video. Also hearing a little bit from Liquid Labs, Cardano, which saw a pretty brutal sell-off. I believe this was linked to 3 Arrows Capital. And of course, AADA Finance are coming on leaps and bounds and actually partnered with Wing Riders. Those of you that follow me regularly will know I'm a big fan of Wing Riders and their decks and what they're doing. We've interviewed both Karen and Liam from the team. Very impressive decks, bringing lots of new and innovative things to the deck space. You know, dexes are often just copied and paste, whereas Wing Riders are doing things differently, which I love to see. What I want to do, guys, is really start off with the price, because the price of Cardano is really dictated by liquidity for markets generally, and of course liquidity for the cryptocurrency market. And what Cardano does is largely dependent on Bitcoin. You know, the prior hard forks that we saw for the Cardano network, we did see run-ups to them, obviously the last one being Alonzo. However, this was in a flourishing bull market where traders would have really looked to take advantage of these news-driven events. The issue that you've got at the moment in regards to ADA's price is where does that influx of buyers come from? And certainly for me, the reason that we think we see lower prices across the board, not just for ADA eventually, even if it does have some sort of a short-term upside, but for the cryptocurrency market broadly, is because I really have recessionary fears. You know, I don't think markets do too well in a recession. We cover this daily on our daily cryptocurrency market updates, and I do believe we are indeed in a recession. If a recession is defined by 2 negative quarters in terms of GDP growth, the first one I think was 1.2% minus, and I believe the quarter that we've just wrapped up, being in the second half of the year now, was like 2.1, minus 2.1 in terms of GDP growth. So I do believe we are in a recession. And I don't think crypto, given its correlation with the broader asset classes out there, the equity market for the US and the equity market generally, is going to do too well in that environment. That being said, there's no shadow of doubt in my mind that crypto survives this and recovers in an epic fashion. And the world, when that does happen, is going to be far more adapt to the cryptocurrency markets than it currently is. So it's a very exciting future that we have ahead of us. We just have to weather this storm. And Cardano is very much going to be a part of that. But if you remove the price from ADA, which is often a very hard thing to do, you know, many of us are investors and you know, looking to capitalize off this technological revolution, and Cardano being very much part of that. You know, if you remove the price, Cardano as a blockchain is doing absolutely amazingly. So what I want to do, having said that about the price, we'll drop down the timeframes. We did previously say to you that this was not the most confidence-giving structure in regards to the fact that you could be forming, you know, a move somewhat like this that ultimately may lead to downside. That is something that we're certainly looking at. You know, ultimately these structures, these sort of descending triangles, do tend to break to the downside, but it really all depends on the crypto market. The issue is, with it being 4th of July, typically what you see for markets, certainly if you look at volume, is lackluster volume on the festive period, and then a resume of the trend when everybody gets back to work and back to their daily lives, having, you know, celebrated whatever event it is, and of course in this case the 4th of July. So we are still dubious. We are still sort of worried that we do see more downside, and ultimately we've positioned accordingly. I still hold a lot of ADA, but I have lightened my bag somewhat in expectation that I'm going to get the opportunity to redeploy that capital back in at cheaper prices. Ultimately, for me, guys, it's all about accumulating as much crypto as possible, and certainly as much ADA as possible, as it's one that I really believe in, and my views very much align with it. Let's get into this thread. So we read the first bit, essentially saying that input output or IOG were very happy to announce that the hard fork had been successful on the testnet. We're now inviting SPOs, so stake pool operators, developers building on top of Cardano, and exchanges to commence their final testing and integrations processes. Vasel is a complex program of work. Projects will need to check backward compatibility, and SPOs will need to make some scripting adjustments. The community has requested a 4-week period following the testnet hard fork to allow SPOs, developers, and exchanges to test and upgrade before we trigger the hard fork for the Cardano mainnet. So they did previously say that it was looking like it was going to be the last 2 weeks of this month. I happen to think it's going to come in August. So June, July, August. I think we're probably going to get it next month, not this month. And I'm totally fine with that. It's kind of like, you know, when we had the Alonso hard fork, I think people were very disheartened, certainly in the likes of, you know, DJED and other projects out there, that they weren't getting, you know, we didn't just instantly have a DApp ecosystem. But in hindsight, I think it's been a very good thing that the likes of a algorithmic stablecoin has launched when it has, because it would have been a very volatile time for it. We saw with the Luna crash, they just simply couldn't deal with the market conditions. Thus, their dollar peg got lost. And then we saw the cascade of liquidations that followed. So I think that it's actually a good thing that it's taken this long to get to where we are, certainly in terms of market conditions. We'll continue to read on. The community has requested a 4-week period. We read that bit. The team at Cardano, the German arm of Cardano, and IOG will be working closely with exchanges and adapt tool developers throughout this process. As soon as we are confident ecosystem partners are comfortable and ready, we'll submit the upgrade proposal to upgrade the Cardano mainnet to Vasel. The Vasel upgrade will bring sufficient performance and capability upgrades to Cardano. Vasel improvements include higher throughput through diffusion pipelining to a better development experience via a much improved script performance and efficiency, plus lower costs, which is something users of Cardano's DeFi I'm sure will all benefit from. Not only that, the throughput, the speed, and everything else. And certainly the builders, the DApp builders on ADA are going to benefit massively from this. The Vasel upgrade will also include Cardano cryptographic primitive improvements, enabling greater interoperability options for other blockchains, a tuned Plutus interpreter, and a new cost model, which are all part of Plutus version 2 scripts. The Vasel upgrade is the most ambitious program of work we've undertaken, and the whole community is involved. Our prime concern is ensuring we manage this upgrade in a way that is safe and secure, always being Cardano's ethos. They like to make sure that when they ship a product, it's been peer-reviewed and tried and tested so that you guys don't have to pay the price for it. We're seeing a huge failing on other blockchains. I think just in the past 24 hours, we saw another hack on top of Solana. I did write a rather not appreciative tweet about it, because I really think it sucks that, you know, users of a certain blockchain have to pay the price of lackluster developers. So thank you to all the Cardano community for continuing support. We'll bring to you updates over the next few weeks as things progress. So this is going to be great. I happen to think we're going to get it next month, not this month. I'm totally fine with that, guys. Ultimately, you know, Cardano's always been about a slow and steady approach, and it's paid them in the long run. We all know the proverb of the hare and the tortoise. So this is from the DJED, the stablecoin. DJED. I keep getting people commenting saying it's not DJED, the D is silent, but neither here nor there, guys. You know what I'm talking about, and that's the main thing. Once the Vasel hard fork is finished, along with the audit final results, we will start to deploy DJED to the mainnet. This is awesome, guys. You know, for those of you who don't know what DJED is, it is essentially an algorithmically backed stablecoin, kind of like Luna's stablecoin, which is UST, which is a bad analogy to make now, but a lot more collateralized. I think in this article they were talking about you know, until now, more than 514,000 TJED, which is testnet JED, have been minted on the platform. In addition, it says 6.6 million T-Shen reserve coins were minted, giving a reserve ratio of 653%. So one reason that many algorithmic stablecoins backed is because they don't have enough reserves, so that if there is a cascade of liquidations in the cryptocurrency market, or there is extreme sell pressure, they cannot maintain the peg because they don't have the capital to deploy. Whereas DJED is demonstrating through their testnet that that will not be the case here, as they are 653% collateralized. So an algorithmic stable has had a really awful outlook recently, just given everything that's happened. I mean, even MakerDAO were talking about now collateralizing their DAI with US dollars, kind of like what Tether does, or USDC. But ultimately, I think there definitely is, certainly in the right environment, the credentials for an algorithmic stablecoin to do very, very well. And it's a real game changer, this idea of backing up and maintaining a peg based on crypto and not just holding dollars one-to-one. So essentially, this article is talking about how the update is going, how they've got a just waiting on the second phase of the audit results, talking about the fact that in parallel with the audit, we are also waiting for the Cardano Vasil hard fork to take place. The Vasil hard fork will allow for scalability that is required to safely run DJED on mainnet. According to Cardano core developers IOG statement yesterday, the Vasil hard fork will occur in the last 2 weeks of July. Once Vasil hard fork is finished, along with the audit final results, we can start to deploy DJED on mainnet. I believe in algorithmic stablecoin. If you look at Luna and its market cap, and what really propped it up and why Luna actually did so well was simply because of the stablecoin. Now, Cardano has a lot more going for it, but a stablecoin is going to be a huge advantage that it's going to benefit from. And I think we're going to see this market cap really jump. You know, people often look at the market cap in terms of USD, which is totally fine. But if you look at it in terms of ADA, guys, it's pretty much stayed. You know, it's not really moved much at all. In fact, if anything, it's upticked recently, given a number of dApps that have come online. And, you know, it's nice to see Wing Riders at number 1. Big fan of this DEX. We also think that MinSwap is a great DEX. And, of course, Muesli Swap are very good as well. You've got the likes of AADA here. Lending Pond. I've still got to release a video that I did with those guys from ages ago. I've just been super busy. You've got some great projects and teams working here that we're really excited to sort of see how things progress. You know, it's a very exciting time to be a Cardano fan, regardless of the price. The price is really dictated from external factors. And that's just the game that we are playing, unfortunately. The issue that I do sort of take is these sort of moves up. You know, we did cover this. I covered it on my Patreon in a lot more significance. You can see how much volume there was in this push. You can see just how much volume there was in this one. Huge amounts of volume. This one here, decent levels of volume. This one here, very small volume. And like I say, it's going to be very telling to see how markets open into after the 4th of July, because typically what you will see in a festive period is people kind of step back, come back and sort of resume the overall trend generally. But we will see. You know, there's many catalysts in the cryptocurrency market that can really move it and shake it to one way or another. Liquid Labs is looking like they are going to be launching soon, certainly within this year. This is a product I'm very excited about. They have fantastic yield opportunities. Also have a stable coin attached with them. You've also got Ardana Finance, which saw a huge sell-off. I believe this was due to Liquid Capital, 3 Arrows Capital. But this is a project that I believe in long term. And essentially, you know, they are a stablecoin ecosystem that's really bringing the Forex market to the Cardano blockchain in the form of the kind of DEX, stablecoin specific DEX that they're bringing. I love new things in crypto. Like I say, lots of dApps out there literally just copy a prior dApp that's been done on Ethereum or another chain and then sort of port it over to ADA. But these guys are doing something extremely different and innovative, which, you know, I'm a huge supporter of. And we know that AADA Finance essentially have joined forces with Ring Riders, which is something I'm very important to, or very much looking forward to seeing. Got Genesis Yields, so much going on, guys. Paribus, all projects we've spoken about previously that I think in the long run are going to do well and certainly benefit from being built on top of Cardano, which is, in my opinion, is going to be a real winner in the layer 1 smart contract space. It already is. And you can really reflect that just given how stable it's been in terms of market cap and where position-wise, we know we're at 15 billion in terms of market cap. There is still the room for downside. Like I say, last week I sold a little bit of ADA just because I'm expecting to get some cheaper, but I still hold quite a lot of ADA just because I don't want to be wrong, and I do believe in this project genuinely. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment. For those of you that want to check out my Patreon, feel free to do so. Lots of Cardano fans in there, I can assure you of that. And I will catch you all in the next YouTube video. Enjoy the rest of your 4th of July, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.